As toy collectors, we tend to get the reputation of being hoarders and creating a mess. But there's logic to our collections. That's what makes us collectors. For me, as an example, with Star Wars, I collect 3 3/4 classic trilogy. Using those perimeters, it helps me not go bankrupt, and it helps me keep track of what I want within that slim category. Now, obviously, different toy lines, we all have our different kind of rules. So as I said, with Star Wars, it's 3 3/4 classic trilogy. With Marvel Legends, it's X-Men 1992-ish, 1991-ish, that era, the one with the animated series, when Image Comics jumped. I've kept track of this for years and have had a very specific set of figures I wanted to acquire. Now, another way, though, I've always kind of thought about collecting Marvel Legends is with the 1991 Marvel Impel card set. And this really came to a head, no pun intended, with the Death's Head figure release for San Diego Comic-Con 2024, which literally brought the card to life. It got me thinking, could one collect the full card series as action figures? And if we're going to go through and do that, well, I guess we need to set up some perimeters. So does the card art need to represent exactly that figure or a slight variant? I mean, with Iron Man, you have armor that's very specific to this card, and he goes through lots of armors. With other characters, you just have, different slight looks. I want to focus on the 1991 set because the 1990 set was kind of still learning to get its feet together. The 91 was really the apex of these card sets, although 92 is pretty awesome, and those Jim Lee X-Men cards were cool. All right, without further ado, let's jump in. Spider-Man, doing whatever a spider can. Well, of all the Spider-Men out there, I think the one with the Renew Your Vows is pretty much the one most people feel is the most definitive of his classic look. But if we're going to nitpick, and that's what this video is all about, the closest to Eric Larson's style, I think, is this Toy Biz Spider-Man Classic Series 1 figure, which I've always felt, but he's a little short. Daredevil, the man without fear. Well, the Marvel Legends Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure wave, I think, gives you the best version because the recent ones lack a lot of deco that this figure had. For Thing, well, once we had the body sculpt with the Walgreens wave, it was easy to re-release a 1990s version in the Fantastic Four Classic wave that we got. So, yeah, boom, Thing, done and done. All right, moving on. Marvel Girl, Jean Grey in her X-Factor outfit. Coming soon, apparently. Rumored that we're going to be getting this figure in 2025, so hopefully we do not have her yet in this outfit. Got a lot of Jean Greys. Likewise, Phoenix. This one we don't have at all. She has not been done, and she's highly demanded because she needed to finish off a team. But since we've gotten a release of Titania in the Secret Wars line, we have some tooling with the spikes on the arms that hopefully could get reused, so maybe it gets us there. Submariner, or Namor, but interesting that he's called Submariner on the card, taken care of in the original Black Panther movie line, where we got lots of kings in the Marvel Universe. Mr. Fantastic, much like Thing, once we had our Mr. Fantastic in the Walgreens wave, we got a 90s version in the Classic wave that shipped a few years later once Disney acquired the rights back. Bobby Drake, Iceman, one of my favorites, probably because of Amazing Friends, in the X-Men Classic wave is the closest version, and I think pretty much nails it. Shadowcat, boom, that's not a hard one to do because we have this exact outfit in the Excalibur 3-pack, which we'll be revisiting since it brings us 2 more characters from Excalibur. Human Torch, likewise, with all the other Fantastic Four, we had that Walgreens wave that brought us really great versions, and then were easily repainted for Classic or 90s in the Classic Fantastic Four set. Either one probably does it with Human Torch. It sort of just depends on which way you lean, how you like your fire markings. Nightcrawler, well, while he doesn't have his hat, I don't think fans are going to say that this is not a figure based on that card, or represented. Captain Britain, going back to that Excalibur 3-pack we just talked about, delivering our perfect Captain Britain in 1991 outfit. Boom, check it off. Iron Man, his Mark 09 armor, released in 2024 as part of the Iron Man Classics wave. Although we did get that previously from years ago in it's one of those Heroes Reborn waves, I think, that Hasbro did before they rebooted the line. But done and done. Punisher, well, a classic version in the classic wave, or in the retro wave, whatever you're going to call it. Cable. All right, now this is interesting because this came out before X-Force 1 shipped. So that specific outfit on the card Liefeld was changing up Cable's outfit like every issue back then, and the card is kind of based on one issue, but I think the version from X-Force 1 is what fans want, and even though this isn't represented by the card exactly, I think it checks it off. But yeah, if we wanted the card, we have not gotten that exact outfit. Now, Deathlock, we could nitpick, and we will. He doesn't have his American flag on the card. This version of the toy does, but again, I don't think fans are going to say it's, they're waiting for the Sans American flag. Gambit, we've gotten a great Gambit in the X-Men Caliban wave, although I like to modify him with the head from the Gambit Banshee Psylocke 3-pack, which we're going to be revisiting again. It's a great head. And likewise, hey look, Psylocke. This is in the order of the card release. Has nothing to do with that 3-pack. So again, we have a version with single release, and I popped off the head from this 3-pack and made a better Psylocke. Vision, specifically the white or gray version. This is in the West Coast Avengers classic carded look. There's been a few. We had that 3-pack from years ago, but this one's better. Hawkeye. All right, now technically this look has not been done with the goggles down and the full sleeves. But I think most fans, again, are pretty happy with this classic version with the jet sled that came out as part of the, 60th anniversary wave. But yeah, if we want to say exact version of that card, we have to talk. Silver Sable. I think we're going to go close enough here. There's a few differences in her hair and the cut of her belt, but we pretty much have a definitive Silver Sable. I think people are happy with that. Night Thrasher, there's no argument. We have the definitive Night Thrasher from the Kingpin and Build-A-Figure wave. So, boom, Night Thrasher fans. I regret not getting this figure. I really do, especially now that we have almost all the new Warriors. All right, moving on from Dwayne to Puck, not from Shakespeare. Now, the only version, there was the Build-A-Puck, and then we had the full version released in the Alpha Flight 6-pack. Interesting that Puck is one of the only Alpha Flight characters. Union Jack. Not this exact version, the 90s version. We got a classic version, which I think is really what fans want. But if we're going to go with the version on the card, we have not gotten the 1990s Union Jack yet. Just this really badass one. I don't know. This one just smacks of, not quite there. Quicksilver. All right. So one of X-Men, one of Magneto's children, available in this 3-pack. So that's where you'll pick up your Quicksilver in his blue outfit. Maybe head swap with the green version for the hair. Scarlet Witch. All right, now here she clearly has the full bodysuit like in this 3-pack. But I technically like it when she's got sort of the bodysuit on the legs and then not on the top. That's how she was in Infinity Gauntlet. So I tend to like this version. So they're both pretty much hit the nail on the head. Havoc, well, no question about that. He, from the, Bonebreaker wave? Yeah, Bonebreaker wave. So perfect version, and man, that blast effect, awesome. Iron Fist, classic Iron Fist, definitive Iron Fist, in the 2-pack with Luke Cage. Boom, done. All right, easy way to pick up, you get a bonus Luke Cage, even though he's not in the card set. Poor Luke Cage. Adam Warlock. Oh, poor Adam Warlock. He just not had it right with figures. Rumors we're getting this figure coming soon, but it also might be the 70s version. He switched outfits when he came back to life this time. We did get a post this version, the one after Infinity Gauntlet, even though the skin was wrong, but not that figure. Wonder Man. Now, we have not gotten Wonder Man. It's really interesting, but with the live action coming out, maybe we'll get a classic version. We have gotten Wonder Man, a different version, but yeah, not the 90s one. Sasquatch, the only other member of Alpha Flight to get a card, except Puck. He was a Build-A-Figure in the Cable Deadpool wave. Also was a single figure back in Toy Business Day, which honestly is just as good. And if you pick up that one, I think you'll be happy. But they're both really awesome action figures of, Bigfoot. Firestar took forever to come out, considering how fan demanded she is. But yep, she was a Walgreens exclusive, and boom, there she is. You can also pick her up in a 3-pack with Iceman and Spider-Man for your Amazing Friends fans. Death's Head, we covered kind of at the beginning of this video, covered perfectly at Comic-Con with a figure based on the card. Like, literally, the card come to life and packaged. Love it. Speedball, taken care of. We, as I said, have been building out our new Warriors, and he was released in the Controller wave with one of the Avengers movies. U.S. Agent, easy repaint. Every time you got a Captain America, you can make a U.S. Agent pretty easily. Also in the Controller wave, so yeah, he's hanging out with Speedball. Banshee, you saw a sneak peek earlier because we covered this 3-pack, so that's where you're going to get your Banshee with Gambit and Psylocke, and you'll use those heads. Megan, another figure that we've seen because we saw this 3-pack earlier, which gave us Captain Britain and Shadowhawk. Shadowcat. Thinking Jubilee. All right, Jubilee. Do you have to repaint the outfit to green? I think fans are okay with the blue. Ghost Rider, the Danny Ketch version. Took a long time to get a Hasbro version, but we did for the 85th years box set. Beast, we got a single-carded X-Men version, and then we also got the Build-A-Figure version years before that. I think this one's a little better because it has the second head and the glasses and the beakers, and the toenails are painted. Plus, removable, lab coat. Invisible Woman, Fantastic Four. Although I like to use the Walgreens head on this body. I like to head swap between the two. I think they work better. Rogue, specifically this outfit. So it's the pre-Jim Lee, but we got it from Hasbro, I think in, 2023. You know it was 2023 because it was a closed box. That's the way you can tell for history. She-Hulk. All right, if we're going to go exact outfit, I think we're happy with this one from the Iron Man Retro Wave 2024 because she doesn't really wear that swimsuit, exactly all the time. The one from the card. I think it was kind of made up for the card. Doctor Strange in his classic look, so we're going to go with the Walmart Doctor Strange exclusive from 2022. Silver Surfer, Boom from Walgreens, the Fantastic Four program. Storm, now this is again the pre-Jim Lee outfit. We haven't gotten this as a figure. So the closest is going to be the X-Men Retro black version, which is actually the Jim Lee version. She is wearing black. The silver is the light reflection, but the animated series makes us forget that. All right, moving forward. Archangel, we've gotten a few of him. I think the deluxe figure is probably the best because we get multiple heads, although the single-carded version that came out in the end of the Build-A-Figure wave was pretty good. Thor, specifically the Eric Masterson version, available with the Destroyer. You have to swap heads. The version on the box, closed boxes, is not quite, but the other head is the masked version. That's perfect representative of that card and that version of Thor. Quasar, specifically 1991 Quasar, has not had a figure. We did get a really kick-ass Quasar from 1992, or actually later. 1992, because this was after Infinity Gauntlet. So, yeah. Wolverine, brown outfit, done. We've had many. I think the classic version on the classic card fulfills most people's needs, although we've got the Secret Wars version coming out. It's a little more orangey and yellow, but either way. Cyclops, X-Factor. Well, we've gotten a version of him, but not without the headpiece, so that one's supposed to be coming soon. I guess we'll find out. Like the Jean Grey, they're supposedly coming together. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think this is the better version, the single-carded one from the Giant Man Build-A-Figure wave, as opposed to the 3-pack, because he's got way more deco. I just think this is a better figure. Now, this is Smart Hulk from the 90s, which hasn't really been done. We've got this, I think, the 88th anniversary Hulk with Wolverine, who's probably the best Hulk, but we haven't really gotten that Smart Hulk, and there's a good repaint for it coming up at the end of this video. So, yeah, not a Hulk we have yet, specifically that version, when he was smart and green. Captain America. Easy, we've had many. I think the Secret Wars version is probably the best. I will probably pick this up eventually. I have some other. I have the, I think the 80th anniversary version. I don't know. There's so many anniversaries. Kingpin. All right, so we've had a few Kingpins, but I think the single-carded version, which is superior to the Build-A-Figure because it gives you the little neck scarfy caveat thing. Sabretooth. Now, a lot of people will say the 2-pack with Wolverine is the better one, but I like the Build-A-Figure from the Apocalypse wave. I don't think he needs to be huge. I never saw him as huge until, I think, the animated series. Magneto. Well, we already covered the 3-pack that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were in, and that's where you're going to get your perfect Magneto figure, complete with blast effects and 2 different heads. And you can put the helmetless version on. That Venom. Now, this is like what am I, Valley Girl? This is the McFarlane kind of look, which means this is the Venom to pick up. There have been many other Venoms. There was the one in the white box from the Carnage movie, but yeah, I think this one, plus you get that great Eric Larson tongue head. So, bravo, Venom. Galactus. All right, now hear me out. Obviously, people are going to point to the HasLab figure, right? This is a modern Galactus. It's definitely not the version pictured on the card. It's actually what kept me from getting this. But the only classic version we have of Galactus goes all the way back to Toy Biz, so I don't know. I think people are happy with their HasLab version. The Mandarin feels like we should have a figure of this. Supposedly he's coming in an Iron Man wave coming up next year, so hopefully he's not been released. And I think is quite needed. He's very classic character. Chameleon, specifically the version in a suit, done back in the, oh god, which Build-A-Figure was that? I forget. All right, but he also came with J. Jonah Jameson's head. And Hammerhead. Oh, Rhino. It was a Rhino wave. That's right. All right, let's move on. Super Skrull, available as a Build-A-Figure in the modern Fantastic Four wave that shipped as soon as Disney got the rights to Fantastic Four and could ship them to mass retailers. So get them all for your Super Skrull. Grim Reaper. Yeah, he's had a figure. It was in the Ant-Man wave. And it's pretty spot on for the card, although I think the face is a little bit different. Mojo, both the single version and the multi-pack, but the multi-pack wins out for Deco because he's just awesome. I wound up getting both. I couldn't believe it. I wound up with 2 Mojos, but this is the better one. Fing a Fang a Foom. How to build a figure? Sounds like Fing Fang Foom, how to build a figure. Sounds like the beginning of a song. So there's scuttlebutt about a HasLab version, but it's much more like, would people pay $500 for a giant dragon? I'm pretty happy with the one I have. I'm pretty proud of collecting it, and well, if there's a giant one for Dragon fans out there, hey, maybe it'll happen. But I think this current figure at least checks off that the card has been done. All right, speaking of cards that has been done, except for wearing a black suit, because the figure has a white suit, Jigsaw's done. I think people are comfortable with that. Speaking of figures in suits, you ever notice that there's a dead guy, by the way, like on the ground? I never noticed that until I was an adult. Anyway, Tombstone in a suit, done, except that he had a red tie, but again, I think fans will be fine with the black tie version. All right, Ulik. Can't believe they made a deluxe Ulik figure. Well, I guess when you have a giant movie like Ragnarok, you get a budget, so yay Thor villains. Baron Strucker, a Cap villain. We have not gotten this 90s version. We have gotten Baron Struckers before, and I think fans are pretty happy they have kind of the definitive classic version, but the one from the card, if we're going to have to use that as our perimeter, well, unfortunately, no, has not been done. Mysterio. Yeah, he's been done, and the card colors were the first release in the Lizard Build-A-Figure, so that's the one that matches the card. Sauron, not the one with the one ring, the one with the long beak, Build-A-Figure from the Deadpool wave that came out for the first movie when they couldn't make movie figures, but we got the awesome Sauron. Annihilus. Well, we did get him from Hasbro very early on, I think in their second wave. I still have this figure. It's a great figure. I'm surprised they haven't redone it. Rhino, first a Build-A-Figure from that wave that I couldn't remember earlier, and then released as a deluxe single-carded figure, which I think is the definitive version and the one that best matches the card. Absorbing Man. We've had a few. We had a single-carded version in a Hulk wave, and then we got a Build-A-Figure version, which is a perfect match for the card. So yeah, the Build-A-Figure is where to go, and these are the figures to pick up. It was the Morbius Venom wave. Doc Ock. Now, the card has him in his 90s suit when he wore a white suit. I think it was an Eric Larson thing. We haven't gotten that version. I would love that version. I think fans are pretty happy with the definitive green and yellow, green and orange, but how cool would it be to have him in a suit? Saracen. Now, this is a guy who is kind of a 90s Punisher villain. The chance of getting him, I don't know. He would have to show up a lot. Nebula, shockingly, we have never gotten a classic Nebula. I would have thought with all of her appearances in the cinematic universe and the animated, we would have gotten her. Puma, we did get. See, Puma's more popular than Nebula. Maybe it's because he's a Spider-Man villain. The Spider-Man villains always find their way. So here he is in the Kingpin wave. Death Watch, kind of a 90s Ghost Rider figure. Not those Death Watch. Either way, we don't have a figure of him because it's, again, one of those very specific 90s Ghost Rider villains that makes sense to be in the cards, but not in the cards to have a figure. Oh, a pun. Kang. I like this version. You can also get one with a cape with the chair, but the single card does it for me. Baron Mordo, major Doctor Strange figure, apparently coming soon. I'm sure with more Doctor Strange movies, we'll get more villains. Blackout, another Ghost Rider villain. Has not been made. Likelihood probably slim unless there's a Ghost Rider movie, because this was very specific to a character. Calypso, like I said, you're a Spider-Man villain, you're going to get made. I expect we'll get her. She's one of the few Spider-Man villains we've not gotten. She's like a hot jungle chick fighter. Make her, Hasbro. Ultron, always changing his outfit. That specific one from the card, it's debatable. We really don't have that exact one, but that card could just be that card. I think that this Ultron from the Casey Lane wave is the best. Thanos, Dark Lord of Titan, the Infinity Gauntlet version that came out, best version, much better than the Walmart exclusive. Hobgoblin, a figure that's been done many, many times over the years. And while the best Hasbro version is this one here that came out a couple years ago, I think that the Toy Biz one that was sculpted by the Four Horsemen is just such a great figure that it is the best and is the one for the card. Lizard, another classic Spider-Man villain and released on a classic card as a deluxe at Walmart. This is the one that matches the card perfectly and better than I think the Build-A-Figure. Dr. Victor Von Doom had many versions. I think that one on the classic Fantastic Four card, but I do recommend removing that cloth neck piece. It just looks silly. Loki. Tough because we haven't had this exact outfit of Loki, but we have had kind of a definitive Loki. So will fans accept this as the version from the card? It's not quite the outfit from the card, but again, fiddle faddle. But Red Skull in a suit? Ooh, have not gotten Red Skull in a suit, and they have a suit body, so that would be great. We've had Red Skull in his classic look, but yeah, it'd be cool to get him in a suit. So we have to go file not found on that one, by a technicality. All right, now we're wrapping it up with the Legends card. So Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, done as Marvel in the Abomination wave. I have 3 of them. Bucky, the only time we've gotten Bucky, and this was back when he was still dead, is this Hasbro early Marvel Legends figure. Green Goblin's been done many, many times, and I think the best modern one is the animated version that came with Mary Jane. I just think the head is so much better than the single-carded version, but much like Hobgoblin, if you go back to Toy Biz, this one's also was sculpted by the Four Horsemen. Man, that is such a badass Green Goblin, and that's the one that's in my collection. So there you go. Original Ghost Rider. So your non-Danny Ketch fans, though the bike is not orange, bam, that is exactly the version of Johnny Blaze that's on the card. For Kraven, well, while the card has him in shadow, he is wearing a 90s outfit which was released with Spider-Man as a 2-pack at Target in 2019, right in time for the pandemic. Yay. Dark Phoenix recently got a single-carded figure, so check her right off the list from the X-Men Classics wave from 2023. Check. Still need to pick this one up. I don't know why I didn't. All right. Darkhawk, my beloved Darkhawk, has not been made. And you say, wait a minute, there's a Darkhawk figure. It came out in the Guardians of the Galaxy wave. No, this is modern Darkhawk. Not even close. The armor's wrong, the fists are wrong, the wings are wrong. We were so close to a Darkhawk figure, it was going to come with Toy Biz. All right, Darkhawk may not have had a figure, but Sleepwalker, the other kind of rookie of the 90s, did, and he got it because sleepwalking or dreamwalking was mentioned in a Doctor Strange movie. So it's an excuse to release Sleepwalker. It makes sense from a toy perspective, trust me. Rage. All right, he's actually had a direct figure, again in the Abomination wave. Now we're on to the teams. So X-Force, even though it's a rookie, but we're moving on to teams, it's been fun to collect them over the years, and we're so close to this version of the team, the original, but we don't have Feral. We need Feral. Hasbro, make Feral happen, especially because you have the body now with Wolfsbane. So, yeah, I'm literally just waiting for this figure to get released. It's got a place on my shelf once it's made. The new Fantastic Four. Well, like I said with the Hulk earlier, you could easily repaint it into Smart Gray Hulk for the new Fantastic Four. All right, we are missing Quasar and Cersei in that specific outfit. I don't think we really need She-Hulk in that 2-piece running outfit. Here, we're just missing Wonder Man for the Avengers West Coast. We've gotten everyone else, even Pym in the orange suit. Fantastic Four, done, and done. One of the only teams completely complete. X-Men, the 91 X-Men, yeah, actually, this one's complete too, especially with that 3-pack. X-Factor, waiting for Scott and Jean in those specific outfits, so we'll see. And much like I said, with Excalibur will only be complete with Phoenix. Make it happen. The new Warrior, still waiting for Namorita, and actually Marvel Boy, the original version, and Silhouette. Masters of Evil, not even going to go through it. They're so far off, and the chance of this happening, probably slim to none on completing them, or the Marauders. I mean, they were big pre-90s, but I think later storylines left them in the dust. All right, so I went through them all, and yeah, definitely some of those characters, like Saracen, specific to the 90s, probably less likely, but others, Nebula, we still need her. So let's see if Hasbro kind of can step up to this and make the 1991 card set happen as action figures. What did you guys think? Did I choose the right figure to represent each card? Do you disagree with any? Are there versions that you say, yep, good enough, Deathlock's fine as is, or do we need one without the flag on his front? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to have a conversation about this. Thanks for watching, and as always, thanks for sharing. It's the best way to support this channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.